Yo, welcome back. Last time we found Kokoro's body, surprisingly enough. I didn't expect her to die. And we did the entire investigation. And I stopped right before the trial. I was looking at some stuff and I was completely lost. I was talking about how this was the most lost I've ever been so far in one of these games. I've thought about this a lot. I thought about this pretty much all day yesterday. Okay, I think I have cracked this case wide open, okay? Last time, before I ended off, I didn't really know what the hell was going on, but I said it's probably Emma, and it's a small chance it could be Yoriko, or it could be Nike. Should I say who I think it is right now, or... I'll wait on that. I'll wait on that. So, I think I have an entire timeline of murder pretty much figured out. So I think all of this started a few days ago. I think Kokoro getting the disease was, I think, actually just coincidental. I mean, it doesn't matter if someone gave her the disease. It doesn't change anything. But anyway, she got the disease, and I think after that is when Shinji mentioned to us at diner. That was after the concert. Yeah, he mentioned to us at diner that he found the snow girl statue had been completely broken and there was water flowing out of it. I think the statue actually broke on its own. The reason I think that is because they mentioned a couple times that, like, how could someone have broken the statue? Because that goes against the rule that we have against breaking school property. I don't know if it's in here, but destruction of property. That the culprit would have been executed if they broke the statue. So I think the first time we got to the museum, Kokoro broke a small part of the statue. I think that, like, made its integrity, like, slowly dwindle or something, and it just eventually broke on its own. I don't know if there was water in the statue or if the culprit added water, because it did say that all the statues were made of wax. So I don't know how that would mix with water. So maybe the culprit just, like, added water around the broken statue to make it look more like the legend or whatever. But anyway, when they learned about the broken statue and they knew that that Kokoro had broken a small part of it when we first came to the island, I think that's when the killer got the idea for the murder. So I think my biggest indication as to who the murderer is this dying message. I actually think this dying message I've 100% figured out, regardless of anything else. So we have 8 icicles of varying lengths. All of them have an F on one side and an O on the other, except the small one that is pierced by a big one. The small one has an F and an I, okay? I think the F stands for female, the O stands for other, and the I stands for I, literally I. I think the 8 icicles here represents the 8 girls in the group, because we have 8, if you count Kokoro, we have 8 girls left alive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I missed someone. Oh, I missed Sora. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 girls. And I think the varying lengths represent people's height. And I think the small one that says I, it literally means Kokoro. At first I thought maybe this was the twins. This was what it meant, that the two were, like, overlapped like this. But no, I think that the I is literally I, like Kokoro. And it being stabbed is trying to indicate who the killer is. So I guess I'll just say it. I think the killer is Emma, because she's the tallest girl in the group. I gathered everyone's height, and it kind of matched up with what the heights look like here of these icicles. Like, we have the twin sisters that are really short, and we have Iroha, then we have Kokoro, and then we have, like, other people. Sora is also pretty tall, but Emma is the tallest girl. So I think this just makes a lot of sense to me, and I have other things that make it look like it's Emma, but I'm pretty sure this is what the dying message means. It just makes sense to me. It seems like it fits too nicely for this to be wrong. Okay, so back to my timeline. So Emma learned about the broken statue, got the idea for this murder. So yesterday, between So Kokoro received food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I think between lunch and dinner, Emma got into Kokoro's room. Now, how did she do that? There's two ways I have in mind. The first way is that since her and Kokoro were kind of close, maybe Kokoro made an exception to her rule about only letting people in if they were with Teruya, and maybe she just let Emma in. My second thought is, this is kind of stupid, but Emma's an actress, so maybe she can like imitate Teruya's voice or something. I don't know. Who knows? Or maybe because she's an actress, she could like act like she's in danger, and Kokoro would believe it or something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Somehow she got into Kokoro's room between lunch and dinner. Now at this point, there wasn't liquid nitrogen or dry ice or any of this. I think she just went in like normally, and she incapacitated. You know what I mean? She incapacitated Kokoro. This would have been easy because she was like disabled at this point. I'm not sure exactly how they did it. She could have knocked her out. She could have just tied her up. Anyway, she did something like that to incapacitate her, and also she cut off either Kokoro's finger or one of Kokoro's hands. I'm not sure which one. Probably just the finger. Just the finger makes more sense, probably. She cuts off one of Kokoro's fingers and puts her in the freezer. She removes the divider from the freezer and puts Kokoro in the freezer, and then activates the freezer to the highest temperature, or lowest temperature, I guess, to freeze her in the freezer. And while she's in the freezer, this is when Kokoro's making a dying message, and obviously she can't get out of the freezer because she's like disabled, so she can't move. Now at this point, Emma steals Kokoro's handbook, and she uses the finger or the hand that she cut off of Kokoro to activate it and lock the door as she exits. And then she goes to eat dinner. This is important because she needed to be at dinner. If she wasn't eating dinner, I think it's Yuki's account. If she wasn't eating dinner, then people would have been sus of her. So she couldn't do everything she wanted to do right there. And I went back to look at Yuki's testimony. He specifically says that he invited Emma to come bring food to Kokoro. It's not like Emma was the one who initiated that. So she probably didn't even want to go, but Yuki was like, "Hey, come on, let's bring her food." So they did that, and I think after Yuki and Teruya, and obviously Kokoro couldn't answer, because even if she was still alive at this point, she's in the freezer and she can't speak, so she can't scream out for Yuki and Teruya to help her. So then after Yuki and Teruya leave, Emma, I think intentionally gets rid of the food. I don't know, she either eats it or throws it away somewhere, it doesn't matter, to obfuscate the time of death, to make it seem like Kokoro hadn't been attacked at this point. She was still alive, even though that wasn't the case. The next few steps, I'm not exactly sure if they were done during nighttime or during this morning. Could have been either, but doesn't matter. Anyways, Emma obtains the liquid nitrogen, gets the dry ice, and also gets the wig. I've thought a lot about this wig. I can't logically explain this wig, which means, to me, it means that the culprit was just actually insane. I think Emma, this is my best explanation for this. I think Emma is actually just insane, and she wore the wig to like get into the character of the Snow Girl or something, because she was like imitating the legend. I think she's just fucked up in the brain, and this is her way of getting into character for some reason. So she gets the wig, she dresses up as the Snow Girl, even though no one saw her, so it didn't do anything. And then she brings the dry ice and the liquid nitrogen from the supermarket. She takes Kokoro out of the freezer. Oh yeah, Kokoro had been stripped to her underwear, I guess, just to make her freeze faster. She takes Kokoro out of the freezer. She's already dead by this point. Puts her on the bed, cuts off her hands and feet. The reason to do this was to obfuscate the actual reason why her finger or her hand had been cut off. Because the real reason was to activate her handbook. But Emma didn't want us to figure that out, so she cut off the other hand and both feet. And did the whole setup with like the liquid nitrogen and everything, just to make it look like the legend, so we wouldn't think about it too much. And yeah, so she cut off the hands and feet, disposed of them somewhere, and put the dry ice in the barrel of liquid nitrogen, which created a cloud of frozen mist. And before it got too cold in there, she exited. She locked the door. She put the handbook back in the room and exited through the window. We never actually checked whether the window was locked. So the window could have just been unlocked, or it could just lock on its own. I don't know. But she exited through the window and used a cloth of some kind to like rappel down to the balcony. That's what Shinji saw, and she used the balcony. She went back to the 4th floor, and she could just go back to her room. And I just think that's everything. I think this explains literally everything. I don't think there's any part of this that is not explained by what I just said. And it just seems to fit really well. I want to go check. Hang on. I literally just remembered something. Wasn't there something under her bed? I forgot to double check that. Hang on. Right? Was it a cloth or? I'm gonna investigate the body. Just looking back at the VOD. Sorry. Her clothes are under the bed. Yeah, okay, that's what it was. I mean, there may be some other reason that I'm not thinking of as to why her clothes were taken off. Maybe her clothes were the cloth that was used to rappel down. So maybe that's why they needed her clothes. But I think her freezing faster is just like a good enough explanation, even if that's not really it. I mean, yeah, that's everything. I think I've actually just figured it out. I think you're the killer. I'm pretty happy I figured all this out. The dying message, I really had to think about this for a while. I really thought the two overlapping one was symbolizing the twins for a bit, but no, I think these two over here are the twins. These represent all the girls. Yeah, that just makes sense. Anyway, that's my theory. Let's see how right I am. My time has barely gone up because I didn't save while I was thinking here, but yeah. Are my skills equipped? Yeah, okay. Let's go in. Alright. Start the class trial. Firstly, allow me to briefly explain the rules of the class trial. The results of the class trial will be decided solely by your votes. If you manage to correctly identify the true Blackened, only they will receive punishment. But should you vote incorrectly, everyone except for the Blackened will be punished, and the later party will be able to escape this field trip of mutual killing. To think that we'd return to this place. But now that we're in here, we have no choice but to get through this. Let's get through this mess with everyone. Now then, begin your discussion. We're looking for the person who killed Kokoro. Where should we start? I honestly have no idea. Everyone, there's something I first need to tell you. I honestly don't have any clue on what happened at all, just ignoring him. Everyone, please don't ignore me. Mikado, you've got some nerves to speak to us right now. Is it just me, or is my identity slowly fading out of existence? I said this before, and I must repeat myself since it's only getting worse. You can ignore me all you want in everyday life, but you have to listen to me during trials. I, for one, did my fair share of investigating, and I would love to help solve this case with you guys. You got some nerve, huh? I agree that we need to listen to Mikado. Are you sure? It's not like Mikado would let us fail the class trial considering the stakes. And even a testimony from a person like him is still important. What a woman you are, sir. But most importantly, he could potentially be the Blackened. And though he might be a worthless no better than a piece of shit scum, He still might have found an important piece of evidence. You've broken my heart. If Sora says so, then I guess we'll be fine. Now that it's come to this, I'll show you my ultimate piece of evidence to restore your trust in me. Ultimate piece of evidence? Did you already solve the case? Well, no, not yet. Ah, shut up. You're making us all lose focus. Agreed. Well, like Sora said, we shouldn't completely ignore him, but I doubt he'll be of any help. So let us proceed without him. Now, back to the start. Why don't we go over the overall flow of what happened? What's his evidence? Kokoro would have done so, just like last time. Yeah, without Kokoro, we have nobody to rely on other than ourselves. Their sister's pretty good. Don't worry, sis. I'm here for you. Guys, cheer up. We can do this. For Kokoro, I think you're the killer. Alrighty, then the summary of the case. I mean, it's easier said than done. How should we do this? Let's first talk about the situation just before discovering Kokoro's body. Summary of the case, just like last time. We don't have a clue on who's the culprit, but we should find the solution if we work together. I'm good. Actually, maybe they introduced a new gimmick. Maybe I should have read that. Monocore file 2. Found a dead body around lunchtime. Yeah. Sarah, Tyria, and I went to bring her lunch. But there was no answer from Kokoro. And we became worried about her. And then I heard the commotion and joined you. So I called Monokuro to open the door. No, that's wrong. You didn't call Monokuro. And when I entered, Kokoro was found dead. To switch there. That would mean that Kokoro died around lunchtime. No? We should talk our alibis during that time. We should talk about our alibis during that time. It said something about Kokoro's body. It had many other suspicious details as well. Let's discuss this with that in mind. I have so much HP now with all these skills. Alright, it's gonna ask me to save after everything now because I have that skill equipped. No, Shinji, we can't be sure of that. Why not, if the body was found at that time? Just because we found the body during lunchtime doesn't mean Kokoro died around that time. Even the Monocore file says so, the time of death is unknown. Speaking of which, the Monocore file this time isn't very helpful, is it? Probably because the body was frozen. Even professional police forces and doctors have a hard time determining the time of death for frozen bodies. Doesn't Monocore have cameras? But if the time of death is unknown, doesn't that mean there's still a possibility that she really died during lunchtime? Certainly a possibility, but it's probably pretty low. I guess this is what we should be talking about. When did Kokoro actually die? Wait, do we really need to? The culprit is already clear as day. What? Nika, you already know the culprit? Who is it? Who's the blackened? Yuruko Kabuya. Need I say more? Again? Huh? Yuruko's Kokoro's culprit? Wait, not this again. Why is it always me? But you're the one who gave Kokoro breakfast this morning, right? That's the only period of time that anyone would get a chance at Kokoro. What? He certainly has a point. She was already dead when Soroku had arrived during lunchtime. So the mealtime right before then is the most suspicious, and Yuriko is the one who visited her then. Wait, how could I have killed her? I was with Tyria the whole time. Yeah, she's right. The whole point of me joining every visit was so that nobody would try to kill Kokoro in her sick state. So that would mean that you worked with her. Nonsense! So you mean an accomplice? But there's no gain in becoming an accomplice. Yeah, this is really dumb, Nikkei. And Tyria's not a void, so he wouldn't commit a murder in the first place. Are you sure about that though? Sure, the chance that he's a void is low. But that's all. In the end, Kato brought him here, right? I honestly thought it was ridiculous to trust a stranger so naively like that. That's crazy. I'm a kidnapped victim brought here because of Mikado. Nikkei, you're one to talk, suddenly pushing others as the culprit. I'd say you're acting suspicious. Just think about it. There are no periods of time for the murder if those two aren't in together for this. No, that's wrong. Sure, there are no incentives for accomplices, but Monocore didn't outright deny the possibility. You guys, say something. Jericho, I know how you feel, but he does have a point. What? No, he doesn't. We need to discuss this some more, but considering the order of people that has visited Kokoro, it shouldn't be weird that Jericho and Tyria are suspicious. But we need to talk more about it. But what is... Why is it giving me another tutorial? I know. Yuriko's account. Is it because of Shio by skill that I'm only getting one shoot bullet? Because like getting rid of the other ones? Why are you accusing me? The only time the crime could have been committed is when you visited Kokoro. I was with her and she didn't do anything suspicious at all. Like Nika said, there is the possibility that you two are accomplices. Kokoro ate all her meals until last night. And the body was found this lunch. So if something happened to Kokoro, it would have been during this morning. But these two don't have alibis, and there's nobody more suspicious than them. The last one? Wait, can I, okay. I still can't check evidence in the middle of this. There's no point in saving a different save file. I'll just save over the last one during the trial. If we're talking about alibis, I have one, Nikkei. Sora. Yuriko said it herself. She went to the village right after she left to practice cooking. She did. Yeah, when there was no answer, we left a meal on her doorstep. And Yuriko went straight to the village. Said she was practicing cooking these days. And is there any evidence to back up your claim? Well, I did pass some people on my way there. I saw her. You were cooking some stew, right? There are plenty of witnesses. If Yuriko went straight to the village afterwards, it would be no time for her to commit the murder. Yuriko, I can understand, but what about Teruya? He entered Kokoro's room every visit. There could have been plenty of chances for him to kill her. Kokoro said she'd open the door only when 2 or more people came to visit her. Thus, under normal circumstances, if anyone entered Kokoro's room to kill her, then we're dealing with more than one culprit. Now that Yuriko's alibi had been confirmed, it would have been impossible for Teruya to kill Kokoro on his own. Thus, the theory of Yuriko and Teruya being accomplices is disproven. You're being so annoying. No, that alone isn't going to suffice as valid alibi. The evidence in Kokoro's room supports that. Sorry, but as a reporter, it's my instinct to pursue every last suspicious detail. So let me show you my evidence. Refute me if you can. Okay, I would actually like the tutorial because I don't remember the control for this. Okay, this is the one I can't read, huh? Shift to switch and S to equip it. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Setsuko's account. About the liquid nitrogen? I'm trying to read it as fast as I can. You saw the state of the course, didn't you? It was frozen solid. How could Yuriko have done all that in such a short span of time? It would be impossible to do all that and immediately leave for the village. Dude, this is so fast. You don't have time to fucking... I really don't like this minigame. You need to pre-prep it or you just don't have time. Like if I know it's coming, it's fine, but like there's no way I can do all of that in time if I'm on the other side of like if I'm the lane furthest away from that, I can't make it there, load the arrow and then shoot it. I don't have enough time. No, Nikkei, if you're saying that Yuriko used liquid nitrogen to freeze Kokoro, that's wrong. What are you talking about? You saw the empty drum barrel in the room as plain as day. If she really used that to freeze Kokoro, there would have been some traces left somewhere in the room. However, there were no traces of that. Kokoro's corpse was the only thing that was frozen. Right, Setsuka? Yep, no traces mean that the liquid nitrogen was probably never used. Maybe she could have frozen Kokoro in some other room before bringing her back in. Not a stupid theory, honestly. That'd have taken a significant amount of time. Nike's proposition was that the crime could have been done in a short time. If Yuriko, or supposed murderer, had taken the body like that, it wouldn't explain how she was able to arrive at the village that early. So Yuriko and Teruya are innocent? I've been telling you that from the start. I know that from a time standpoint it was suspicious, but Nike, aren't you being a bit too harsh? Hey, what's with that attitude? You got a problem, Nike? No, let's stop with the fighting. Now that our suspicion on Teruya and Yuriko is clear, let's get back to the case. I wonder what the liquid nitrogen was used for then. It wasn't used for freezing, but it was probably used by the culprit for something, right? Seeing how they left it in the room. No, that's probably a red herring. A red herring, but the drum barrel had a label with liquid nitrogen on it. I'm saying that they probably just stuck that label onto an empty barrel. Maybe. And that's fine with my theory. My theory was that they mixed the dry ice with the liquid nitrogen and it evaporated to create the mist. If we're saying there was no liquid nitrogen, then the dry ice could have just been used in the fridge, I guess, to make her freeze faster. Like stuff it in the fridge along with her. How did she create how did all the mist get created then? The barrel was not for carrying liquid nitrogen anyway. The angle of the label was suspicious as well. Wait, then how did Kokoro get frozen? It must be the Ice Woman's curse after all. There's no other way that person would suddenly freeze. Shut up. Of course it's not because of the curse, but how did Kokoro's hand freeze? There was definitely something used to freeze her in the room, and that is... No, I'm good. It's the fridge. It's the fridge. Fridge. Oh fuck! I missed that one. Wait, can I see? Okay, it was this one. Wait, you don't get to see it again if you fuck up. You just die. Okay. I really thought I'm gonna game over on this one, but we'll just save. It's fine. It's probably the refrigerator. The refrigerator. The culprit froze Kokoro with the refrigerator? Excluding the liquid nitrogen, the only thing we're left with is the refrigerator, but is there any proof that the refrigerator was used? Yes, the divider. Proof the refrigerator was used to freeze Kokoro. Those traces probably should do it. Or do you want the dying message? You probably just want the divider. Quoted this now. The refrigerator divider in Kokoro's room was a bit loose. Perhaps it's because the culprit had taken the divider out to fit Kokoro in and then put it back. Kokoro's quite small, so if they squeeze her right in, she'd definitely fit in. Squeeze in? Watch your words. Not to mention, our refrigerator was set to instant freeze mode. If you've ever used it before, you should definitely know that it's enough to freeze a human being. Wait, even if it was set to instant freeze, freezing some leftovers and a wholly human are completely different. The Mona profile said she was frozen to the point that her cells suffer from necrosis. If she was frozen that badly, that means the culprit left her in for at least a whole day. Oh wait, that means Kokoro had to be in there since yesterday lunchtime. Yuki, when you were there with me and Teruya delivering Kokoro her meal, there was no answer, right? Yeah, but Yuriko said that the dinner was gone that night. It doesn't make sense. Maybe Yuriko is lying? I can't believe no one's thought about this. Anyone could have eaten the food. Like, why would I lie about something like that? If your refrigerator theory is correct, that means Kokoro should have been inside the fridge last supper. If Yuriko's the culprit. Wait, so Yuriko never visited Kokoro yesterday. She never had a chance to enter her room. And who delivered the breakfast yesterday? Me, Iroha, and Teruya. Did we? And you spoke to Kokoro? Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. And you spoke to Kokoro? Yep, we tried it for a while. Kokoro even wrote LOL on her iPad. It was such a lovely time. That means she was alive, at least until then. Who was there for lunch? Okay, this is what I want to know. Me, Kanade, Shin, and Teruya. Am I getting baited? Is Hibiki the killer? Did the ice picks really did the ice picks really represent the twins? No, it's Emma. And did you guys meet Kokoro? Of course, she complained about 4 people being too many. Wait, it's getting a bit too complicated. Can somebody summarize it up? Roro, can you get me a piece of paper from your sketchbook? Okay. Okay, this is nice. Day 1, day 2, day 3.
The only problem with my Emma theory is my explanation for how she got into the room is a little loose, you know? If I just said that it's Ibiki, it's really easy to explain. Because she just stole the iPad when or the handbook when she went in the room. If we summarize what we talked about, this is our result. Setsuka, your drawing is adorable, and you're such a good summary. I hereby name you the Taking Notes Master. Setsuka, you're good at studying, right? Enough with this drawing, and let's think about the flow of the case with this. If we simply think about this, Kokoro didn't answer since yesterday night. This means something definitely happened then. Does that mean the visitors right before them? Shinji, Teruya, and the twins all together are the culprits? What? Why are we the culprits? I doubt that 4 people were accomplices, especially when the chances of there being even one accomplice is close to 0. But according to Yuki, somebody must have killed Kokoro after lunch and before supper yesterday. Wait, that's impossible, I told you. It's impossible to enter Kokoro's room when it's not mealtime. It's a rule, Kokoro decided it herself. And I saw her dinner disappear. She should have been alive then in the first place, right? Stop talking about this, this is so stupid. But that doesn't give enough time to freeze Kokoro. I have no idea what we're talking about. This means that nobody is capable of murder. If somebody killed Kokoro, they obviously needed to enter her room first. And it wasn't during our visit. I think the refrigerator is the root of this problem. Maybe the culprit didn't use the fridge after all. Okay, you're the killer. You're like steering us away from the answer. No, considering the liquid nitrogen was just a red herring. There's no other way the culprit could have possibly frozen Kokoro. There's other clues, none at all. But we could have only entered her room during mealtime. This is a complete locked room mystery. This truly is difficult. I honestly can't wrap my head around what's going on. I knew it. It's the Ice Woman. Shut up! Monocro, stop the trial right now. This isn't a murder. It's a curse. And it's class royale? I don't mind at all, but I assume that means you've given up on finding the culprit? Well, that's not... I mean, does a culprit even exist in the first place? It seems like it's impossible for everyone. Is there any clue pointing towards the culprit? Even a small hint could set us back on the right path. Oh, kinda this coming in clutch? There is a culprit. This is a case where if you think about the method first, it becomes more difficult. Then how about we break this thought process by figuring out the culprit first? The evidence pointing towards the culprit, I'm sure you know it, Sar. I have high hopes for you, Sar, so I'll help you out. Okay, I need a refresher. I don't remember how this works. Yeah, we dodge the words, but we get the bullets, right? Alright. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot the music is kind of a banger for this one.
Are we gonna figure out the dying message already? This early in the trial? Yeah, it seems pretty definitive to me that it points to Emma. That's it, the dying message. The dying message that Kokoro had left. If we figure that out, we can find out who's the culprit. Yep, that's it. Dying message. What's that again? It's a hint at a killer left by the victim on their last breath. And you said there was a dying message left? Yes, the icicle's inside the refrigerator. It looks like normal icicles, but if you look closely, there are letters written on it. Traces that look to be someone's nail marks, presumably Kokoro's. What? F-O. The two of them are stuck together. Wait, is one penetrating the other? So what does this mean? The dying message should be more intuitive. This feels like some sort of code or something. It's very easy, actually. I've already identified a culprit using this. Same. What, Kanade, you know who the culprit is? Who is it? And that I'm going to explain right now with this dying message. But we don't know what it means. Kanade, we're inclined to hear your explanation. Of course, if you first find the culprit, then find out the trick that they use, it'll be much easier. Now this icicle, it looks like they're randomly placed, but there are exactly 8 of them. And on each end, FNO is written. If you look closely, here, 2 of them are stuck together, just like Nika said. The penetrator icicle is different from the others. It has an I written on it instead of O. So that means F stands for female. I fucking knew it. There are 8 icicles and 8 of us. O stands for dude, I'm a fucking genius. O stands for others. So I literally stands for I as in myself. Yep, looks like you at least got a pretty smart brain there, Yuki. One of the 7 O's is penetrating I. Considering that it was Kokoro who made this, we can interpret this message as one of the 7 girls killed me. Whoa, so the culprit is a female? Wait, this alone doesn't pinpoint the culprit at all. All we can get from this is that the killer is a girl. Well, we can take this one step further to deduce the killer's identity as well. What do you mean? Look carefully at the icicles. They all seem similar, but the I icicle that penetrated the O... Dude, I'm so happy I figured this out. The I icicle that penetrated the O icicle. The killer's icicle is significantly longer than the others. Keeping up the theory that these icicles represent us girls, the length of these icicles are probably analogous to our heights. Somebody please summarize this for me. Are you proposing this? The tallest out of all the girls is the killer. Huh? That's what the dying message means. That would mean the culprit is... I'm really happy with myself that I got that one. The tallest out of all the female students. And Mama Garobi, is it you? What? Should I stop here? It's only been 30 minutes. No, let's continue. Let's just fucking raw dog this trial, man. Emma, the person that the dying message is pointing to. It has to be you. What? Emma's the culprit? How come, Sora? Why would Emma be the killer? I don't know exactly. I just saw the dying message just like Kanade told me to. If the tallest person out of the girls is the culprit, it's got to be Emma, right? Yeah, but still. How could you? Sora, I'm trying my best to find the culprit who killed Kokoro. And you're saying that I'm the culprit? Even if you're joking, that's way too far. Rara, regardless of the dying message, don't you think it's a bit... Emma was Kokoro's best friend, not to mention she was the most upset out of all of us when Kokoro died. Yeah, personally, I agree that this is going too fast. We don't have any decisive clues either. Maybe our interpretation of the dying message was just wrong? Are you all a bunch of idiots? Based. What did you say? My interpretation is sound as can be. Once we assume that Emma's the culprit, all of the mysteries will now make sense. How dare you? Why would you think that I'm... Kanade, you're being mean to M. There's no way M could be. Sis? Oh, what the fuck? Would you please just shut up? If you're not going to be useful, get out of the way. Kanade. It seems to be that Miss Kanade has already solved the case. But judging by the reaction, it just feels like a delusion from Miss Little Sis. What the fuck? Kanade is becoming the Joker. Delusion? Kanade, what's wrong? Sora? Yes? You alone believe my reasoning, right? I believe that you can figure out how Emma did it without my explanation. If you're lost, I can give you a hint. Emma's talent. Her talent is a key to this. Emma's talent? Let's try kind of this suggestion. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this, but at the beginning of the chapter, when we saw all the Void members, and one of them said like, I'll keep an eye on her. My talent is suited for this. Obviously, they're talking about Kokoro, and at first I thought it was Nikkei because he's a journalist. It was like, oh, I'm good at like spying on people. But I think what it meant was it's Emma, and she used her actress skill to like get close to Kokoro by pretending to care about her. Instead of solving the method to deduce the culprit, let's first pinpoint the culprit, then solve how they did it. Alright, let's focus. Logic craft. Okay, this is... Is this what Yuri's skill is for? The logic craft is a brand new minigame. When the minigame starts, block will fry from the right side. You have to make sure to dodge these. The player can ascend by holding the... This is Flappy Birds? Can ascend by holding the Z key. When the Z key is released, you automatically descend. When colliding with the block, damage is taken from the shield gauge. Ouch! The shield gauge can withstand a total of 5 hits. Any more than that would result in a retry. Likewise, when all your power is extinguished, your health is reduced by 1. However, the damage varies according to the color of the block. 1 for green, 2 for yellow, red is death. Sky blue blocks are laid on top and bottom. If you touch these, you will take 1 damage. If you progress to certain stages, a branch will appear. You have approximately 7 seconds to read the question and answer it. After, go to the corresponding branch. If the branch is correct, you will proceed to the next stage. If it is wrong, you will restart. When selecting the branch, the aircraft does not descend and you can freely move around. Okay. If you break through all 3 stages, you will clear the logic craft. Good luck! Wait, oh, okay. They didn't say I would fall on my own? I'm not falling. Oh, that's what Yuri's skill is for. Yuri's skill is making it so I'm not falling. Okay. Okay, that's okay, I see. Oh, the bullet hell experience. What is Emma Magarovi's ultimate talent? Ultimate wizard. Nah, I gotta perfect this mini game. Hang on, I gotta lock in. Seems like it would be pretty hard if you had Flappy Bird controls. That was close. It's weird that there's a grid in the background, but you don't like move along the grid. What does the ultimate actress do? She acts. Okay, is this a real question? Like, come on. Wait, what the? What do you use? Like pick a pipe? If you couldn't know that there was gonna be unsafe before we went in. Okay, this is your Flappy Bird. Okay, I will say I probably don't need to Yuri's skill. I'm pretty sure I can do this just fine without this skill. If Emma the Ultimate Actress is the culprit, which of the following would be possible? Disguised as another person. Okay, so we're saying she pretended to be Teria. Okay. That's one of the things I brought up at the beginning, yeah. Or are we saying she disguised herself as the snow girl with the fucking wig? And Kokoro let her in for some reason. Emma's talent. With the talent of the ultimate actress, wouldn't it be possible for her to act as someone else? What do you mean? The former reasoning was denied because Kokoro's dorm room was locked. And we all had alibis. Did she pretend to be two people? Was she like, hey, Kokoro, let me in. Teruya's with me. Hello, I'm Teruya. You need to open the door, Kokoro. Kokoro was like, oh, okay. But what if Kokoro we met was in fact not the actual Kokoro? Oh, I didn't think of that. Oh, I feel stupid about myself. I did not think of that. That makes way more sense than what I was on about. That's clever. Because she was wearing the face mask and we only talked with her for a second. And she said LOL on the fucking iPad. That was so out of character. That's because it was fucking Emma. Oh my god. Okay, you got me. You got me. I got. Okay. Okay. I got owned. That's really smart. That's really smart. What? What if Emma was disguised as Kokoro? And what if Kokoro was already dead? Then it would be possible. That's... You mean the Kokoro we met was actually Emma? Or did we meet the real Kokoro? But the Kokoro that they met at lunch, then that was Emma. I don't know if we met the real Kokoro. But... Sorry, are you judging me because of my ultimate talent? No, it's not like that. Not only accusing me of murdering my friend, but also judging me because of my talent? Calm down, Emmy. I know how you feel, but... How can I calm down after hearing that? I just want to avenge Kokoro. So I tried my best, but boo-hoo. Boo-hoo? That's the best you can do? No, I didn't mean to. Sorry, I think you've gone way too far. I'm sorry, but I don't think Emma's the killer. Sorry, let's think again. Maybe Kanade made a mistake. This is too rough on Emma. Kanade, you need to tell these guys that they're stupid. Oh my god. Oh, I made a mistake? I didn't know you all were at the same level as my sister. Disappointing. What are all these Kanade spreads? You, how dare. Let's be quiet, Hibiki. I told you I'd solve this for you. Why do you keep being cocky? Useless. Hibiki only has to hear me and rely on me. You know, don't you? Kanade, why? Boo-hoo, you're so scary. Aside from Kanade's intimidating face, I also believe that it's unfair to accuse Emma as the killer. We don't even have any special reason to doubt her. No. I'll trust Kanade and Sora. I'll take their side. Oh, the scrum debate. I'll take their side too, because I got something sparkling after hearing that. It's too harsh, too harsh. Is Seobai been sleeping the whole time? I don't think he said anything. Simmer down a little, everyone. The Clash Royale is a sacred, honorable place for completing wisdom. So any conflict had to be resolved with discussion. I'm sorry, Emma, but this case can't be solved unless Kanade is right. Let's calm everyone down and gradually share my opinion. Okay, I'm good on scrum debate. Boom, boom. Banger incoming. Sora versus Luna. Does Yuki represent the sun and Sora represent the moon? Oh, there's Seobai. Is it possible to disguise as Kokoro? I was always with you, so I had no time to disguise. How do we know that when you weren't even with us for the whole 24 hours? If Emmy is the killer, there's no need for such a disguise. If you hear all my reasoning, then you'll understand why you had to disguise. The Kokoro woman was the actual Kokoro without a doubt. Isn't it possible to act completely as someone else? To act is her ultimate talent, isn't it? Oh, and her voice, because she couldn't talk, so she's... Oh my god. This is really clever. Even if she had perfectly imitated the appearance, she couldn't have imitated the voice. Kokoro didn't use her voice because of the disease, that's no problem. Kokoro and Emma have different heights. Isn't it impossible to disguise as another person like that? Kokoro didn't even get out of her bed. We had no chance to check her height. Even so, this case isn't closed without a way to enter the dorm room. There may be another way to access the dorm room, we just haven't discovered it yet. So we're saying she entered through the window? Wait, there's no end if we keep arguing like this. I never expected Sora would do this. So when will we stop arguing? If you assume what I'm saying is true, then you'll realize the crocodile tears that she's been doing. You're way too harsh. Okay, fine, let's assume that it would be possible for me to disguise as Kokoro. But even if that's the case, what would that matter? There must be a way for me to enter Kokoro's dorm room for Kanade's logic to make sense. You can say that again. Kokoro's dorm room can only be accessed by Kokoro herself. Whether disguised or not, nobody but Kokoro could open her dorm room without her opening it. This is what we talked about at the beginning, right? Yes, in this case, the biggest problem is the method of entering Kokoro's room. Whatever trick the killer used, he or she had to have entered Kokoro's room before murdering her. There were only 3 chances for us to enter her room. You mean during mealtime, don't you? See this? We're going to run in circles. It's no use to discuss the disguise in the first place. What are you talking about, everyone? We definitely had the chance. When we entered Kokoro's dorm room without ever asking for her permission. You mean we entered her room without being invited in? Kinda seems to know something. I should listen to her more. Boom, 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 boom. Kokoro's handbook. Shield by skills seems really good because I'm only ever getting 1 tree bullet. What do you mean we entered Kokoro's dorm room? We definitely did after her performance when she fell down suddenly. Oh, at that point? At this time, we used her student handbook to open the door. Right, we used her fingerprint to open the door. But Kokoro was still alive at that moment. There's no meaning of entering the room. What if somebody took her student handbook there in the middle of the commotion? She didn't have her handbook for 3 days? And left the room with the student handbook. Then she can enter the dorm room freely without hindrance. And you're referring to me? Surely Kanade's work would make sense, but is that all? The locker room mystery. There must be evidence related to this among what I found when investigating. So we're saying Kokoro didn't have her handbook for like 3 days and she didn't notice? She didn't say anything about that? Sure, whatever. That's kind of stupid, but... Also, yeah, the handbook was left in the room because they left through the window. Like I said, let's continue. I doubt I'm gonna lose 8 HP on the next minigame. Kinda there's a loophole in your argument. A loophole? If somebody had stolen Kokoro's student handbook, obviously he or she might have entered the room freely. Unless the auto power saving mode was activated. Auto power saving mode? You mean the system that automatically turns off the handbook if nobody touches it for a while? Even if somebody stole Kokoro's student handbook, as Kanade said, it is impossible for one to turn it on again after it goes off, unless Kokoro herself tries it. How about touching it constantly so that the power does not go off? Yeah, that's what I said. That is impossible. You can't manipulate other students' handbooks with your hands, really. While the power saving system is active, it shares the same recognition algorithm with turning on. Okay. It only reacts to the owner's fingerprints. What do you mean? Don't say complicated words. In other words, the handbook would go off unless the Kokoro herself was touching it. As everyone else has explained, Kanade, your reasoning doesn't make sense due to this problem. Can I ask everyone here a quick question? What's this about? Hiro has constantly insisted that this case is because of the curse of the Snow Girl, right? Yeah, so why would you believe in such a thing in the first place? Because the Snow Girl is known to freeze the one she hates and take their hands and feet. Okay, yeah. The hand that was cut off was used to activate the handbook. And Kokoro died in the exact same way, didn't she? That's right, apparently Kokoro seems to have been killed in the same way as the Snow Girl's curse. Or as the official name goes, the Yuki Ona's curse. Well, anyone but Iroha wouldn't be dumb enough to believe in that curse. Who says I'm dumb? But true. And why do you come up with that again? You're not going to claim it actually was the curse, right? Not at all, but if it's not the curse, then why did the killer choose such a cumbersome method of murder? To promote fear? Nope, Hibiki, please think before you talk. This is obviously a copycat crime, and of course the killer had a reason to do this. A copycat crime? What's that?
Literally, it means the case that imitates another case in the past. But this time, she's saying that the case had imitated the legend of Yuki Onna. And what's the reason for that? It's obvious, a cover to conceal the trick of the locked room murder. As Sora pointed out, Kokoro's student handbook recognizes nothing but her own fingerprint. It would be turned off even if the other person keeps on touching it. And what if the killer had Kokoro's fingerprints? Eh? The reason the killer did shut the thing to Kokoro, he had evidence at Kokoro's body that was nothing like the Yuki Onna's curse. No? Are we saying because the hands and feet were cut off after she was frozen? Or cut them off, you mean? The killer cut off both of Kokoro's hands because she needed her fingerprints. He cutting off the fingers to get the fingerprints? That was it. The elements of the Yuki Onna's curse were just all a cover-up. The true intention was the fingerprints. Wait, that means the killer carried a severed hand just to turn on the student handbook, doesn't it? But how would you do that? It's not only the matter of hiding it. It would still be the matter of the blood and the smell, because she was frozen. Another thing is, the killer didn't need to cut off the feet if they only needed the fingerprint. She didn't have to carry all the hands and feet. As Rick pointed out, she only needed a fingertip to get the fingerprint. Then why did she cut them all off? Because if just one finger had been cut, it would have been obvious it was for the fingerprint. It's only after the case when we discovered Coco's body anyway. So the killer could only have the fingerprint for a while and cut the rest at a later date. This is what you're trying to say, Connor? Yes, glad you're starting to be logical. Just a guess, there's no evidence and not enough reason to do such a troublesome task for a fingerprint. No, there is evidence. At the time we discovered Kokoro's body, it was just beginning to melt and bleed. But there was a dry blood stain on the bed, strange isn't it? Okay, yeah, so they cut one finger and then they cut the rest later. What do you mean, strange? The dry blood stain was from cutting the fingertip in the beginning. As Setsuka said, the imitation of the legend was just for show. The second island had a great motif of the Yuki Onna's tale, so she used that to divert our attention. Pretty well done, wouldn't you say? So how's that? Does this solve the trouble of how she entered the dorm room? Well, it certainly does explain how Emma entered Kokoro's room while disguised as her. And more surprisingly, the one who came out last during the performance. When we brought Kokoro back to her room was... Ta-da! It was Emma. Was it? I don't remember. Was that shown to us? I think it was just like blue text that said, oh, we brought her back to her room. I don't think we actually saw that. But what about it? If she were the last remaining person in the room, she could have stolen the handbook without being noticed by anyone else. Emma, no it can't be. This is just as Kanade expected. By spotting the killer first and tracing the case back with information from the killer, we could see what we were missing. Combining the reasoning that just came out and what we revealed at first, the killer used the foregoing way to bring out Kokoro's student handbook. Foregoing way. And after everybody went to bed, she came back to Kokoro's room before the power went off. Perhaps this is when the real and fake Kokoro were switched. And she cut Kokoro's finger off and locked her in the refrigerator. Oh, it connects to the refrigerator trick. My goodness, now we have solved all the problems we had at the beginning. The access to the room, the time needed to freeze the body, and the alibi problem. Wait, isn't it strange? I thought losing the handbook is a violation of the school rules. If the killer took Kokoro's handbook in that way, she should have been punished. It's not that strange, this is a theft, not a loss. And the school rules tend to make exceptions for murder. There was a rule saying that? Oh yes, Monoko said so when we opened the door of Kokoro's room and discovered the body. Well, I do believe we were a bit too late on that though. What do you mean by... Okay, yeah, there's exceptions for murder. You said that. Speaking of the school rules, in fact, there's another rule that killer violated for this case. You mean the vandalism, right? Okay, so we're saying he actually did break the statue. Okay, sure, whatever. It's not really important, but hey, you're quite smart. What do you mean, Yuki? Explain it. You said that, big bro. The day after the performance, you saw the broken Yuki Onna statue at the museum during your morning jog. Oh yes, we talked about the vandalism at that time too. The fact that nobody was punished for the vandalism means, yes, it was part of the trick. To increase the plausibility of Yuki Onna's curse. She destroyed the statue to make it seem as if it awoke. That's one of the reasons, but the true purpose is different. As you all know now, the essence of this case is the killer's disguise. You can cover a skin color using makeup, and the clothes by wearing Kokoro. Oh, are we saying the wig was taken from the statue? But what about the hair? During that, the Kokoro we met was too similar to the original to consider her as a disguise. How did she make that hair? Eh? Maybe it's because of that piece of evidence. I thought the
the wig was just like in the storage room, in the changing room. I didn't think it was part of the statue, but sure.
これですね。
Kore desu ne. The dressing room. She took a wig from the dressing room inside the museum. That's right. Of course there were so many kinds of wigs at the dressing room. But there wasn't one that resembled Kokoro's hair, was there? Hiro, do you remember the costume party held at the first night we arrived on the second island? Yeah, I do. Do you remember who took care of her hairdressing at that time? Oh, it was Emma. But what does the wig have to do with the broken Yuki Onna statue? Connection between the wig and the broken statue. Maybe it's because of that. Do you want me to present the wig again? Or this, the changing room item list?
これですね。
Maybe it's because of the dressing room prop list. What's that? Well, I saw that too. It's a list that contains the amount of stock for each prop in the dressing room. A list that tells us which wig or clothes amount to how much, like that. If the killer had taken out the wig to disguise as Kokoro, then the dressing room would have one wig missing from the list. To cover that, she destroyed the statue and took the hair part to fill up the inventory. And the statue just had like perfectly realistic wig? Sure. Why did she do something so unnecessary? Nobody would know this one wig missing. Hiding the disguise was most important for the killer, so she might have been concerned about such a minor thing. Indeed, the meticulousness was not in vain. Among us, there was the one who memorized all of this list and checked for every single day. What? Who's the pervert? Sorry, it's me. No, I'm sorry. I don't remember very well. But I feel that I made a mistake by not doing such a thing in the past, so... Well, it was previous work I did too. I can't bear to be without knowing exact quantities of the stock. Jesus, the fucking spelling mistakes are getting crazy. Even though Teruya checked it every day, we didn't even notice that the wig has disappeared. We consider the kill has been too grandiose. If the stock had not been filled, Teruya must have noticed the loss, so the killer had the advantage. One of the wigs in the dressing room had pieces of the destroyed statue on it. The inference started from there. Still, we would never have come up with the disguise idea without Kanade's help. Now, I was just able to do this because I looked outside of the box. Well, it seems like the identity of the killer is being revealed. Emma, you really... Emma, if you really are the killer, just confess now. I don't want to argue with you anymore. Are you that eager to accuse me of being the killer? You've ruined my friendship with Kokoro, my ultimate talent, and everything else. And you still haven't had enough? Don't cry. I once thought it made no sense to suspect you, but after hearing all that, I can't believe those fake tears. She truly deserves the name of the ultimate actress. They look totally real. I still can't find out who's telling the truth. If you vote an innocent as the killer, everyone but the killer dies, right? If you all have a death wish, so be it. What do you mean? I'm not the killer. All of you are being tricked by Kanade's verbose, yet wrong reasoning. If you pick me, then we will all die, and the real killer is laughing among us. Please think again. When will you stop that disgusting act? All of the evidence incriminates you. Sorry, you said so, didn't you? If Kokoro hadn't died, maybe thanks to talking to her, she would have joined us. Thanks to me talking to her, she would have joined us. I wanted to be your friend no matter what. Which means if I get slain here while I'm innocent, I won't be able to face Kokoro in the afterlife. Okay, you're putting it on real thick here, Emma. There's still a chance. Trust me, I will contradict your reasoning. I'll prove to you that I'm not the killer. Let me point out the falsehoods. I've just got to find one minor flaw in your sound reasoning. But that minor flaw will prove my innocence. I hope I can change your mind. I fucking hate this minigame. Moniker's balcony. Dude, Seal by Scale is coming in so clutch. Ah! Well, I fucking shot at the wrong lane. Oh my god. I mean, I know what it is, I just shot at the wrong lane. Okay. Dude, who the fuck has a skill for this game? I need to find them. Because there's like a delay after you move. You can't, Jeez, I got a lot of penalty there. You can't like spam the button to move from one lane to another. There's like a delay when you move that you can't move again for a bit. No, it's possible to get out of the monastery after the door is locked in the nighttime. But no, you're arguing black is white, so this is not nonsense. It was impossible in the previous island. We got access to something new after the class trial. The balcony door at the 4th floor hall, I mean. Oh, that's right, the balcony door opened after the last trial. But the 4th floor of the monastery isn't that low down, right? She could get out of the ship through there, but it's just too risky. But what if she had a rope-like thing to climb down? No way, Yuki, nobody went through the balcony. No rope-like thing. This reminds me of the testimony about the balcony that I heard.
これですね。
Excuse me, Shinji? Whoa, what did you call me all of a sudden? Didn't you tell me that you saw something on the balcony side on your morning jog down that day? Oh, you mean that? I think I saw something like a big long cloth being rolled up. So Emma, according to what Shinji said, wouldn't it be possible for the killer to get out of the ship through the balcony during the night? Of course, it's impossible to come back that way, but we know how Ajime did in the last murder. If the killer had come back just right after the door is opened, nobody would notice her and a perfect crime is achieved. Perhaps what Big Bro saw was the killer quickly retrieving the rope-like thing after coming back from the outside. Well, that's just a hypothesis. I don't know any such thing. But the time Shinji mentioned exactly corresponds to that day, doesn't it? Yes, maybe that's the way she used to move out. But we've got too much of evidence already. Don't you know that a series of hypotheses can be put together as a reasonable argument? Really? Is it really you, Emma? No way, I didn't. To sum it up, the killer could enter Kokoro's room freely from that morning. So we had recognized the disguised Kokoro as the real and alive Kokoro. And that made us believe that the case is a locked room murder after her sudden death. In fact, there's another reason to doubt Emma. Since the performance, she has finished her meal very fast. For that, she had no appetite. Yeah, she has. Yeah, that was brought up several times. She had never finished a meal with us. Why? Because she had to act as Coco if she's the killer, that is. Wait, has she been Kokoro the entire time? She demanded us to bring 2 meals a day at the appointed time. So Coco must be in the room at those moments. However, oh my god. However, at the same time, Emmy herself should eat with us to avoid suspicion. Thus, she had no choice but to make up a reason to get out of the dining hall and start disguising. That's why she didn't eat. This is so clever. That's why she didn't eat a lot, because she couldn't eat 2 meals every day. Come to think of it, I believe that was the reason she designated a specific mealtime. It was done by Kokoro herself, but now we all know that she was actually the disguised killer. That was already Emma at that point? Wait, so Shiobai was in on it? Right? Or what? Because Shiobai did the autopsy on her. By setting the exact time, she could decrease the risk of an unexpected situation. Everything makes perfect sense. So you're going to doubt me until the end? Even though you're all missing one important fact? There's nothing like that. Stop struggling, because it's getting a bit disgusting. No, it's a thing that was mentioned before. I'll prove to you that it was totally impossible for me to disguise as Kokoro. This is crazy. President broke Shiobai's account. Probably Shiobai's account? Saying that I disguised as Kokoro? That's absolutely impossible. I'm an actress, not a voice actor. I can't mimic her voice. Okay, but she wasn't speaking. And there's a height problem too. Kokoro and I have completely different heights. Do you really believe I can disguise as her? Of course, these two difficulties could be explained by the disease. But think of it this way. Had there been no disease, would I have been able to disguise as Kokoro? Her disease was diagnosed in the morning of the day after the performance. The killer should have prepared the disguise in the daybreak before that. What's this? Was the killer aware of Kokoro's disease in advance? With no other way to overcome the voice and height difference. An endemic disease? What are the chances they would predict that? So, that was Kokoro, but I'm getting confused on the timeline now. Emma, did you just say endemic disease? Huh? What? Oh yeah, she wasn't there when we talked about that. Well, she wasn't in the room. She shouldn't have known. Huh? What about that? That's weird. Those who weren't with us at Sioba's examination shouldn't know that. Kokoro has been suffering an endemic disease. Those who weren't with us? Everyone except me, Rawa, Ruki, you, and Dr. Siobai and patient Koko. You weren't there, Emma, and how did you know that Kokoro's disease was endemic? What are you talking about? You said that in the dining room. No, we only said that the disease is a rare one, not an endemic one. What? And surely you should know, because Kokoro, as the examination, was actually you, Emma. Tongue slip coming all the way down here. You're getting quite nervous, I guess. So Siobai was... What the fuck was his examination then? Oh my gosh, you can't take it back now. Wait, I just said that it might be an endemic disease. What? See, the both island we've been on were tropical, so I just naturally got the image of endemic disease. It's just a coincidence, and now you're picking on such a minor thing. Pathetic, the lamest excuse I've ever heard. And it's not important whether the disease is endemic or not anyway, is it? The point is, how did I know that Kokoro was suffering a disease beforehand? Indeed, the killer must have started to prepare for this guise before the examination result came out. So it makes it a contradiction if I hadn't been aware of the disease. You got it? Now you know that you were all wrong, don't you? Well, I have an objection. Was the result true in the first place? Like this? What do you mean? Even if Kokoro was actually Emma, the disease itself was diagnosed by Siobai, wasn't it? Oh really? Then let's ask him right now. To Mr. Doctor there, who hasn't said a single word yet. Oh, he actually hasn't said anything until now. What were you doing? Don't bother me, I'm busy arranging details of the last business transactions. There are more than 20 businesses that must be dealt simultaneously. I have to prepare for alternatives since I'm wasting my time stuck in here. Jesus, what does he think this life at stake trial is for? Siobai, I'm sorry, but I want to ask you something. Ask what? You deduce the killer, then trial is all over, isn't it? Just stop wasting time and put an end to it. It still remains the final objection, and we need your testimony to break it, Siobai. During the inspection, you said that, right? You knew the killer from the beginning and she made a huge mistake. He said that? Siobai, was your examination real? You guys, I've agreed to as a broker, got it? The examination was no favor, it was a business deal. What are you on about? Never reveal the information about the customers and the business details. That's my creed as a broker. But this is a clash royale, you're gonna stick to that creed crap when your life is at stake? Of course I'm not. The most important thing is my life, you know? However, well, fine, I'll give you a special service this time then. My business partner was Kokoro Mitsume, technically, and I feel no need to respect a dead woman. Wait, Siobai. This is the request I received from Kokoro Mitsume. I was attacked by the Void. I want to blow the cover of the Void who attacked me, so please make a false examination for my safety. And deliver that fake result to the others. I said, wait, so you mean Kokoro wasn't sick at all? That's a little different. I didn't predict this. This is a little different. That request was not made by the real Kokoro in the first place. You said you know who the killer is, Siobai. Then you mean that you got who she was just by that request? Because it was weird, obviously. I would not leak you this, so she could have spoken when there were just the two of us. But she used the tablet PC to converse even in front of me. And moreover, Emma Magarobi. That woman said that her body is as hot as lava after Kokoro Mitsume fell down. Why did she say so when Kokoro Mitsume was attacked by the Void and not suffering a disease? Maybe she got burned with wounds. On reflection, we just acted upon Emma saying she's got a fever. After taking her to the room, we only drugged her and put a wet towel on her face. This is obviously a measure for a disease, not for an attack. It seems like Emma had out a bait for us. She's got a fever, inducing us to think of a disease. She used Siobai's examination to nail it down. So why did she pass out? Did Emma actually just like fucking hit her over the head? Or something? And we all haven't ever imagined that a disease would be a lie indeed. I wasn't with you at that time, but the story sounds awkward even to me. A healthy person suddenly gets disabled by an unknown endemic disease. Yes, definitely awkward. I see. She carefully used her words to distract her attention from the suddenness of the examination result. However, that made her get caught by Siobai, on the contrary. What do you mean? It doesn't make sense at all. Emma Magarobi talking about the fever and Kokoro Mitsume talking about the attack. Of course, I didn't notice the disguise at that time. But I got when the murder took place and who the killer is. And we didn't have to wonder if you told us earlier. Why didn't you say that? I told you, I have a creed. Shorty. But well, now you have exposed everything, so I felt I don't have to keep it to myself. The secret everybody knows is no more secret. Hehe. It's checkmate, Emma. No, wait a minute. Something's wrong. I'm not the killer. This is crazy. I didn't predict that Emma's been acting as Kokoro for fucking 3 days. So Kokoro's been in the freezer for a long fucking time. I'm sorry, Emmy, but it seems like nobody's on your side anymore. Me too. At first I thought that Kande's reasoning was wrong. Her reasoning's perfect. Wait, we haven't discussed how the killer dealt with the body yet. I was at the outside of the room when the body was discovered. I couldn't have done anything at that time. Could do that treatment in the morning. After you stopped disguising yourself, you didn't have to open the door for us. So you could do your job whether somebody else visited it or not. By job, you mean the final step, right? Yeah, take frozen Kokoro out of the refrigerator and cut off the hands and feet to hide the severed fingertip. Then the room would be full of blood, wouldn't it? There was no such trace. Not at all, she was fully frozen down to the cells, so there's no risk of blood spill. Maybe only flesh would splash. Terrible, Then rearrange the refrigerator partitions back to the original, and put a liquid nitrogen labeled drum for a distraction. Finally, get out of the room and everything's perfect. Wait, there's one thing that bothers me. Kokoro was frozen with the quick freeze mode of the refrigerator, right? Not by the liquid nitrogen. No matter how long the freezing was, it must melt if exposed to the room temperature for hours. Indeed, there was blood coming out from the cut surface of the hands and feet. But it was very little. Shouldn't it melt faster in room temperature? The point is that the melting speed was too slow. Perhaps that was because the killer used that tool to keep the body cool. That's because the killer used dry ice. Dry ice. When the body was discovered, there was cold hair and white fog in the room. At first, we believed it was the liquid nitrogen, but it was actually dry ice. Indeed, the bag of dry ice was at the crime scene. She maintained the temperature with dry ice in order to prevent the frozen body from melting. How is it? You don't have anything to refute, right? Okay, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, because I guess all the dry ice had, like, evaporated by then. And that's a fog? Sure, whatever. I feel like the bed would still be wet, but maybe not. It is dry ice, but Sniff. Why are you being so harsh to me? I didn't do anything wrong. I just wanted to avenge Kokoro. That reasoning based upon coincidences makes me guilty. Emmy. God, enough already. When will you ever stop? Sora, you understand, don't you? I'm not the killer. Please persuade them for me. We're about to be all up. What should would this reaction be? An act of truth. But all of the evidence is indicating Emma is the killer. It's nothing but her being stubborn. Let's present the final evidence to break down her insistence. Okay, I'm good on this. Why is she Harley Quinn? Oh wait, I'm not supposed to shoot those, right? Wait, do I? Forget. Maybe I should have read the tutorial. Okay, I'm not supposed to shoot the orange ones. Wait, am I? Okay, no, I do. I don't shoot the black ones, right? I think that's what it is. Yeah, I don't shoot the black ones, okay. I gotta lock in because I lost a ton of HP at the beginning. I even have the skill to make this easier. I'm still getting kind of owned. Dude. Okay, it's fine, I have a 10 HP. I'm not the culprit, why are you suspecting me? Both cannot coexist in one place.
終わりです。
Oh, what do you do? I'm not actually sure what that's referring to. Both cannot coexist in one place. Emma and Kokoro, you mean? Because they were never together. I have one thing to ask everyone. Has anybody ever visited Kokoro with Emma? Huh? Oh, that's, Of course, there isn't anyone, because the Kokoro we saw during the visit was Emma herself. If Emma came to visit, there'd be nobody in Kokoro's dorm room. What are you talking about, Sora? I definitely visited Kokoro's room. Don't you remember? Yuki Teruya? Well, that's a really stupid lie. We can easily check this. Oh, that's true. I went there with Emma. Oh, but we didn't see her. On our way out of the dining room, I came to her and suggested to go together. And did Kokoro open the door at that time? No, it was the last evening, the first time Kokoro didn't open the door for us. Well, obviously, how can it be open when Emma is outside the room? She should have delayed the murder a bit more, because it's really suspicious to do it the day after that she doesn't open the door. It points to her. She should have waited an extra day. She was forced to go because Yuki invited her. It would have been weird if she refused, but she should have delayed the murder. Instead, what Yuki just said makes her more and more suspicious. The excuse that she had no appetite was in order to leave fast in disguise as Kokoro. So as a result, Emma actually never went for a visit with us. So much for caring about Kokoro when you didn't even visit her. No, not didn't, more like couldn't. Perhaps it was an unexpected event for her to receive the suggestion from Yuki. She did try to get out first at that time, indeed. Emma just gave up. You have no defense at this point. No arguments to refute now. That summarized the case once again, and you won't be able to refute anymore. I'm good. Okay, I don't have the skill, the Iroi skill, because it was fucking 20 points, so I have to just figure this out on my own again. Okay. Melody Rhythm's passionate performance. How did she pass out? We still won't know that, right? She's probably gonna tell us after. Looks very evil here. That one was easy. This one's only 6 pages. The first trial was 9 pages. Oh, that's why they took off her clothes, because they needed her clothes to disguise her. Man, everything makes so much sense when you understand. This is a real, just like case 1. This is a really good case. I wonder if Kokoro was. Oh no, she wasn't dead because she did the dying message. Wait, is that what dry ice looks like? Am I stupid? In my mind, dry ice is like a cube. It's not like mist. You can't sprinkle it. Whatever. Wait, hang on. Why would they use the rope to fucking go down the side of the ship? They had a monopod, they had a finger. They could have just left through the front door. I guess just in case no one, just so no one can see them. Okay, we never actually saw that the statue was missing its wig, by the way. Actually, I think second entry around. Okay, never mind. And we was tricked by Sioba's fake examination. Okay, again, the order could be wrong here, because... Okay, sure. I feel like I'm getting pretty lucky. Okay. I understand you're in a rough situation, Kokoro. Could you not just have written Emma on an icicle, instead of this whole elaborate message? I feel like that would have been way easier. I guess she didn't want to make it too obvious, so that if the killer found the message, she wouldn't get rid of it, so she had to make it kind of a code. How long did it take it for Kokoro to die? That's a terrible way to go out. Isn't this from case 1? I guess because the other one says after they finish all the preparations, it's after this one. What? Huh? I guess you want this one before the other one, even though it says after all the preparations? Or was the label put on before cutting her body? I mean, it doesn't matter. Dude, this is so stupid. How am I supposed to know? Of course, she put the label on the barrel before cutting her limbs. I'm fucking stupid. How did I not think of that? Obviously. The case began with the performance Setsuka set up. During the performance, Kokoro suddenly fell down. At this moment, the culprit said that her body is as hot as lava to make it seem like she had a disease. But in fact, it was actually an attack by the killer amongst the commotion. Okay, we immediately brought Kokoro to her dorm room. We used our finger to turn on the student handbook. The handbook can only be turned on by its owner's fingerprint. This was later used by the killer. The killer pretended to worry about Kokoro and left the room last. It was to steal Kokoro's student handbook. Soon the nighttime came, and then the killer went back to Kokoro's dorm room after everyone was asleep. After seeing that nobody was watching her, the killer started the preparations with ease. First, she tied up Kokoro and cut off her fingertip. This was because she needed Kokoro's fingerprint. After she had stopped the bleeding, she put Kokoro into the refrigerator. The refrigerator had enough size for a person as small as Kokoro when the partitions were removed. The culprit then set the refrigerator to instant freeze to freeze Kokoro to death. Then the killer started to prepare for the disguise. The key of this murder was to disguise as Kokoro, thus pretending as if Kokoro was still alive. For that, she collected Kokoro's clothes, but she still needed the hair part for the perfect disguise. Here, the killer took interest in the museum dressing room and started the plan from there. She had to get ready for the disguise before the next morning. but it was impossible for her to get to the museum as nighttime had already come. Okay, sure, I get what you're saying. Okay, that makes sense. Ignore what I said about why would she use this to exit the room. Okay, sure. So the killer used a rope-like thing to jump down from the monocle through the balcony at the 4th floor. Arriving at the museum, she took out a wig that looked similar to Kokoro's hair from the dressing room. Actually, I think, ignore everything I said, because I don't think anyone ever left or entered the room through the window, after all. I think that was not even a part of it. But how was the door locked in the end? Does it just lock on its own? Oh, whatever. But that's Naegi and Hibuki, and that's good. Arriving at the museum, she took out a wig that looked similar to Kokoro's hair from the dressing room. This made her lost in the dressing room prop list. So she destroyed the Yuki Onna statue and used its hair to fill the list instead. I see. The destruction not only helped cover the loss, but also gave us the sense that the Yuki Onna had awoken. I thought that she was using the statue from... She was using the wig from the statue, but no, she used the wig from the dressing room that looked a lot more like Kokoro's hair, and she used the wig from the statue to hide the fact that the wig that should have been there was missing. Okay, that's really smart. Considering the body state we discovered, it worked out perfectly. On the next morning, the killer came back to the monikers right after the door opened to remove the evidence at the balcony, and used Kokoro's student handbook to send a request out to Siobai. Is she fucking texting with Kokoro's finger? Because Mikado said it only works with fingerprint the entire time, right? So she's fucking texting by pressing Kokoro's finger against the leathers. Like that's a really funny image. I was attacked by the void and went to conceal myself to find that void. So please make a false examination upon me and tell my disease to the others. That was the request. So Abida Scrooge accepted this request, but felt that something wasn't quite right as he saw the disguised killer. Remaining silent even in front of Siobai himself, in a situation that contradicts with "she's got a fever" mentioned by the killer last night. Perhaps he was able to spot the killer based on these two inconsistencies. Anyway, his false examination made us believe that Kokoro had been suffering from a disease, which allowed the killer to overcome the biggest challenge of this disguise: voice and height. In addition, the killer required us to bring meals for her at specific times for that she was disabled. This was to reduce the risk of an unexpected situation and to disguise more easily. Still, the killer had to finish her meal earlier to disguise as Kokoro in advance, and this made her look more suspicious. This is a fucking crazy plan, by the way. For a few days after that, we delivered meals to the disguised killer and saw the face of Kokoro, so nobody ever noticed that Kokoro was dying that very moment. At the same time, Kokoro was gradually being frozen in the refrigerator. But she left a dying message with her last strength. She broke 8 icicles that were created by the instant freeze mode, and carved F on the front and O on the back with her nail. Yeah, this seems like a reasonable thing to do as you're freezing to death instead of just like writing the name of the killer. Then on the last icicle, she carved I instead of O and penetrated the longest icicle through the icicle to complete the message. The icicles meant 8 females, namely the tallest girl among all females, which is the one who killed I. In other words, Kokoro. And indeed, the killer was the tallest among the females. We couldn't have noticed the killer without the dying message. As time had passed, Kokoro finally died and the killer gave up on her disguise. This morning, using the empty drop in the bag of ice she collected the night before, she prepared to finish her crime. First, she put a liquid nitrogen label onto the drum so that we mistake the freezing method as the nitrogen, not the refrigerator. Then she took out Kokoro's frozen body and cut her hands and feet off, which was to prevent us from coming up with the idea of the fingerprint from the cut fingertip, and also to pretend that the Yuki Onna's curse had been cast. Then she put dry ice onto Kokoro's body to slow down its melting and left the room. All that remains is for us to feel something suspicious as we deliver her meal, and eventually discover her body. The killer this time was fairly cunning and careful. In fact, we might not have noticed her identity if Kokoro had not left a message. Maybe. I mean, no, because Shiobai would have just told us. The killer who murdered Kokoro. could be nobody but you, Emma Magarobi, the ultimate actress. But I told you she was a member of Void from the very beginning, like in chapter 1. Nobody but me? You said nobody but me? Heh, it's a failure then. Ha 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 ha. Okay, well, that's it. Okay, I think this was a really good trial. The only thing I'm still not clear on is how was the door locked? Like, the monopad or the handbook was found in the room. From there, how did the killer leave and lock the door? Does he can it just lock on its own? That part's not clear to me, but everything else was made a lot of sense. Like I figured out a lot of it at the beginning, but a lot of what I had was also wrong. But I this was a really good trial. I think, again, just like the first trial, I like that there were a lot of clues that weren't necessarily part of the evidence. Like the fact that Emma kept like leaving dinner early, and like Kokoro's disease and all about that. I just really like the way it all fits together. Yeah. Level 15. 8 skill points. 12,000 mono coins. Well, we can hang out with Seo by 12 times with that. Even more mono coins. You finally reached your conclusion. But as you know, it's your second trial. There's only one chance to get it right. Let's find out whether your conclusion was true or not. Ladies and gentlemen, vote for the killer with the button in front of you. Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? What's it going to be? Hoo hoo hoo. Okay, so Emma's gonna become the Joker, being like, haha. Took you long enough to figure it out. That's right, Miss Emma Magarobi was the culprit of this murder case, a rightful verdict indeed. I must say that your performance was splendid. Emma, damn it. Got the right answer. Emma was the killer. We already worked it out through the trial, so everyone must have voted for her with confidence. But knowing the answer beforehand didn't make this any less of a shock. Having to accept that one of your classmates committed murder. Why? Just why? Kokoro was your close friend, and why did you kill her, Emma? Baka! Why would you ask for that when there's one possible reason? It's because she's a void. Aren't you a void, Machan, huh?
Why?
Hey, isn't it too early to decide that? How can we be so sure that being a murderer equals being a void? It would be best if Emma explained it to us herself. Emma, tell us the reason you murdered Kokoro. No need to mind my presence, Miss Magarobi. Speak freely as you desire. What? What are you talking about? Your abilities far exceed Mr. Makinochi, so I put my trust in you. You may use your remaining time any way you want. Sigh. Having remained silent since the end of the trial, Emma suddenly let out a deep breath and began talking. Okay. There's no particular reason. I did it because I'm a void, just like you said. That's all. Just like Hajime was, I am Mikado's co-conspirator and ally too. I'm sorry if you expected something heroic from me. Emma's beautiful face became contorted as she spoke. It looked surprisingly similar to Hajime's appearance in the last trial. Void? See, I told you. But the Voids, weren't they no longer willing to work with Mikado after you betrayed them? Betrayed, yes, Hajime died, and we weren't told we would die for real also. From our perspective, it's true that Mikado betrayed us. Then why did you murder somebody? It's too late to turn back. As Voids, we cannot be saved even if we decide to not follow our plan at this point.
If we antagonized Mikado and helped you escape the island, there would be nothing left for us. But you didn't have to go as far as murder. I don't know what your motive was, but we could have helped you overcome it. It's not something I can magically solve like that. You don't know anything about us. We have our own reasoning for doing this. Our own reasons for doing this. Is that why you killed Kokoro? Was it to carry out the plan as a member of Void? Kokoro said that Hajime's murder was planned in advance. They must have a goal that should be accomplished no matter what. Even if it means killing someone and risking execution. So Emma was supposed to murder too? There's one point that I find strange as well. I am certain it wasn't Miss Magarobi's turn yet. Huh? What do you mean? Allow me to give a brief explanation. Each of the 5 Voids has to commit a murder in a set order. I believe Mr. Makunochi has mentioned this before. Of course, anyone else is welcome to kill. You may consider this a safeguard against deadlocks. If only Voids commit a murder, other Voids with knowledge of the kill order would instantly know the identity of the culprit long before the trial. It would be like watching a mystery TV show after being spoiled the ending. Neither fair nor entertaining. However, it is surely a great merit to know who is supposed to murder next. Then, if it wasn't Emma's turn yet, I was perplexed after realizing who the culprit was. The occurrence of a non-Void murder within my expectation, but Void muddling up the kill order. It would have been nice if I was informed of this in advance. I'm sorry, Mikado. I messed up the reenactment. What murder should you have been? No need to apologize. Although you may not have noticed it, you reacted the case to a fine extent. Kokoro Mitsume, because that woman got on my nerves. I had to kill her. But you were really close with her, why? Since I'm going to die soon, I'll tell you. It was when we were watching the twins' performance. What's the matter, Kokoro? The concert is still going on. Why did you want to have a talk all of a sudden? This is also for your own sake, I hope you understand. Emma, you've been encouraging me to join the rest of you for the past few days, correct? Right, oh, do you finally want to join us? Well, I believe you can suppose so, but only under one condition. A condition? I have plans to cooperate and resolve the situation with the rest of us if you decide to work with us, Emma. Huh? What do you mean by that? I don't know. Can't you understand? My condition is for you, a member of Void, to stop working for them and join us. What are you talking about? Me, a Void? I admit you've done a great job so far, but your acting won't work here. You cannot deceive me. Emma Magarobi, you're our Void. Okay, you should have just told this to everyone if you were going to confront her anyway. This is really stupid. Why would you confront her one-on-one? When nobody knows you're with her. This is so stupid for Kokoro. This is so stupid. Don't worry, if I intended to reveal your identity to everyone, I would have already done so. I know a few others who are quite likely to be in Void as well. Yeah, so I just confronted you about it one-on-one in secret. When nobody knows that I'm with you, so you can murder me easily. Still, I'm proposing this offer to you because you always approach me with a friendly attitude. I think you'll be of great help. I think you'll be able to be of great help. I hope you do not make an unwise decision here, such as attacking me. I am not impudent enough to talk one-on-one with a dangerous individual like you. Besides, everyone will witness your crime even if you do succeed. I have asked Teruya Otori to act as my bodyguard a few days ago, and he's now with me for some reason. He should be watching us now. fucking Teruya being a fucking useless piece of shit, as usual. You should be watching us now if you're planning any tricks to give up. What do you want? Just as I said, come to our side, tell everyone that you're a Void, and share any information you have about Void and Mikado Tsunoji. We need the Void's information in order to work out the problem. In fact, I have a fairly convincing suspicion about who Mikado Tsunoji might be. If the Void's testimony backs it up, we may be able to escape this island. There are 2 more Voids among us. If I become a traitor, you know what they'll do. No need to be concerned. I believe I know who they are. If you choose to join us, I'll make them follow you to join our side. It's easy to say that we Voids have a reason to be committed to our plan, even as far as to resort to these dirty methods. I don't know how you managed to expose me, but I can't back down here. Even if it's against you, Kokoro. Do you know our pain or suffering? If you know so much, why don't you try your almighty mind reading on me? At last, you express your honest feelings. What? For the last few days, Emma, you constantly tried to get along with me. As the ultimate actress, you played a pure-hearted friend with a level of sincerity that even I couldn't doubt. Of course, your real purpose was to keep watching me, someone who poses a threat to Void.
Your overly perfect kindness, nothing but purity in your mind. I was able to notice that you avoid using these hints, but at the same time I wanted to know how you truly felt. Regardless of your intent, you were the first to become this close to me. Kokoro. Finally, after pushing you this far, I can now understand you. Which makes me want for you to join us even more, Emma. But don't worry, whether it's about your father or your adoptive parents, we'll do the best we can to help. What? I told you earlier because you showed me your honest feelings. I can understand you now. Okay, she can just do that, sure. When I read a defenseless person's mind, I can naturally see their feelings. Your dark past, Void's motives. I saw how it was all like. You saw it? I apologize for doing it without your consent, but this was the only way to convince. Emma? No. This emotion is a twisted... No, a monster? No, I'll do whatever you say. I'll bring money. Please don't hurt me. Wait, Mr. Otori. That's... I see. Miss Mitsume has touched Miss Magarubi's raw nerve. What are you talking about? Miss Magarubi has lived a terrible past, which she absolutely loathes to recall. I could say it's similar to psychological trauma. The mere act of recalling it is enough to cause her seizures even in normal settings. When it combined with her complex feelings and the shock from being exposed, Miss Magarubi couldn't control her emotional outbursts anymore. So it was an accidental murder then. Now I understand why Emma committed murder when it wasn't her turn. I'm sorry, everyone. As Emma just said, the day after I woke up on the island, Kokoro gave me a personal request. She said she was going to focus completely on finding the voids, and is concerned about the other voids targeting her. She told me to watch her from a close distance and come to help in case something happens. You're so useless. She must have chose you because you were the least likely to be a void. Wait a minute, Kokoro said that? She made a whole announcement to tell us that she's not going to care whatsoever about void. She said it was to deduce the void. She wasn't sure who was in the void. So she pretended to be ignorant and worked in secret. Kokoro really wanted to help us. And surely she left like a paper hidden in her room that like said who all the void members are, right? But I couldn't save her. I was distracted by the concert and took my eyes off. I left Kokoro to be attacked and die right under my nose. You don't have to feel responsible, Teruya. No one would have expected to attack her in a crowded place like that. Yeah, and that would mean it's her fault too for doing the concert. If Kanade and I looked more closely at the audience, this wouldn't have. I know the audience was looking towards the stage, but why didn't the twins see that? Kanade always closed her eyes while playing the guitar. And I can't see very far when I'm focusing on communicating with people in the front lines. Stop it. This isn't the time to blame everyone. We're just unlucky that all these events happen at once. It's already done, but I don't regret it. It was bound to happen someday. After all, this is a curse ingrained in my memory. Even if Kokoro did not bring on my past, I would never have betrayed Void. As a Void, I will put everything in the one last hope we have. Even if it costs you your life? Yes, besides, I would be no better than a dead person if the plan fails. Really? Huh? Do you really have no regrets? It exists as a gut feeling that you really felt happy when you were with Kokoro. Same when you were with us. Hajime said you enjoyed being with us too. She's right. Void is the only thing is only doing this because they were forced to by some unknown reason. It's not too late. You can recompense for what you did later. For now, don't you think we should work together to give the Mikado a big kick in the butt? It's a bit too late for that. Mikado, I'm done. Start my execution now. Would it be all right? I don't think I can face you all any longer. If I stand here for another moment, I won't be able to remain a Void. No one but Emma herself would ever know whether she was putting on an act or not. But I could tell that she looked incredibly distressed at that time. Knowing that a classmate committed murder, hearing that she was a Void, troubled by mixed feelings, everyone had lost their words and merely stood watching her. I'll say one last thing. Shinji's plan, I don't think it was fundamentally in the wrong direction. If we had another way out, we wouldn't have agreed to join this nasty plan. Hajime felt it, and I did too. If we met you in another setting, we would have stayed as good friends. But while the plan is in action, all this process means nothing. No matter what you all do, the outcome is already set. So much talk about process and outcome. The process and the outcome. Just like Utsuro in the first game. Just like I'm about to die despite my struggles. The outcome is already set. That I will die is another sacrifice to the plan. You should try working against it in the way you believe in. That's all I can say. Okay, Emma, are you okay with that? It's your last chance. Can you tell us something to strike back at Mikado with at the very least? Your words are of no use.
The other voids, as well as Miss Magarobi, has already realized the state they are in. This is their only choice. They must put every bit of themselves in this plan. Just what is that plan they keep mentioning? I can't logically put together anything you or the void say. Well, it would not make much of a difference even if Miss Magarobi or I told her plan to everyone here. As Miss Magarobi said, the outcome is already set. Everything in here is only a step leading towards that outcome. Of Utsura awakening? In any case, we should salute Emma's determined resolution. Keeping calm in her current position isn't an easy task to do. We salute to her resolution. Haha, this is Miss Magarobi's favorite type of joke. Oh, I don't get it. I don't care, just kill me. Alright. I'm glad to have worked with such an outstanding person. It's almost a shame that I have to execute her myself. But are you certain about this? The subject of death is not something to be taken lightly. Even more so than you think. Only a few minutes left. You'll be executed shortly after. Prepare to take in the full experience of the last moments of your life. Since the atmosphere has cooled down, this looks like a fitting moment to begin the execution. I've prepared a special punishment for the blackened of this case. Blackened, not blacked. That's a different word. Miss Emma Magarobi, the ultimate actress. To die. I'm going to die. Hold on, don't start it yet. I think I'm scared. Then shall we start? I don't want to die, I still want to live, I don't want to be killed. Punishment time! Well, is it going to be a Harry Potter execution?
Why so serious?
That's really funny. The Emma in the woods. They did the why so serious bit. Is she gonna turn into a plushie too? Oh, Jesus. Poor woman, you were never paid back for your efforts. Farewell, may your remains rest in peace. An excellent colleague, I must say, but you two were an average being in the end. Begging for your life at the last minute, a pure disgrace. Please no more. How long do we need to keep doing this? Sniff, snob. Damn it. Is this over? Can I leave now? Hey you, what's up with that attitude when you've done nothing? Shouldn't you be used to it by now? I say mind your own business. So bye, I don't care what you do, but aren't you in need of a way to get out of this place too? I can look after myself, quit bothering me. Oh, was it Emma Magarobi? I heard her speaking. Kokoro Mitsume, that woman, what she said back then, it's quite boring. Her death might have been a greater loss than I thought. What's he talking about? He just stepped out? Well, everyone, thank you for your hard work. Although there may be less of us now, let us not lose our spirit and return to our normal life. Even happiness itself will be frightened to come with your desperate looks. I feel like the translation is getting worse. Hoo. He's a spiteful person, even till the end. Still not anywhere as bad as the first game. The second class trial is over. The culprit of the second murder was executed. Regardless of who she really was, this was the death of a friend who we spent the past few days with. Like I did in Hajime's case, I wasn't able to get used to this feeling. And now that I remained in the courtroom was an extremely unpleasant feeling. Even Setsuka and Shinji, who had been our pillars of strength, kept silent, as if they lost their energy. Sniff, sniff. Stop crying, Yuro. Guys, I don't know what to say, but let's not give up here. Not this, man. what would they have said at a time like this? Damn. Everyone. Oh, I never thought I'd agree with Mikado. Big sis? Baka, you guys snap out of it! Hibiki? What are y'all doing? Even Mikado said so. We shouldn't be let down. Let's return to our normal life. You're gonna stay up all night here, huh? Did she have an alternate personality or something? Honestly, I'm feeling a lot of guilt right now. Hajime and M. I was the indirect cause of both of their murder. I guess, yeah. We threw the party that led to redying because I was complaining all the time. And Suka planned the concert where Kokoro was attacked also because of me. Are you a Void member? Are you doing all this on purpose? Yeah, right, so what? Isn't this where you normally start crying like a baby? Be quiet! And yeah, this is a hard time, but if I keep being peevish and whiny, I'm going to make another murder happen. Not at all. It's not your fault. Don't put the blame on yourself. No, I realized that I have to change when Suka cheered me up last time. And even more so, I don't want to be a burden to the rest of you. Aha, I guess we should do something too to match up with Little Beaky's heartwarming speech. Who are you calling Little Beaky? Fred, Emma's words gave confidence to my belief. Voids are victims too. I have no idea about their purpose, but they felt some sense of intimacy with us and felt fellowship with each other. They're being a part of this plan only because they had no other choice. If we find another way to help them, we could solve everything. I won't let any more people die. I won't give up. Guys, cheer up. We'll get through this. Everyone. It seemed as if Beaky brought the depressing atmosphere back to life. If you think about it, wouldn't she be the person who changed the most upon coming to this island? Yeah, she's almost changed too much. After going through a series of events, Hibiki has now developed a mature and motivating attitude. With a few exceptions, of course. Like hell we will. What? If you're gonna keep playing friends with each other, leave me out. I'm going to do this by myself now. Huh? Kay, what's the matter all of a sudden? It's not all of a sudden, didn't I tell you? This was an overly complacent approach. Shinji said voids are victims too. But so what? That doesn't make them any less of a criminal. Okay, Kenjo. And we don't know when they're gonna come after us. Well, I'm not keeping you back if you still want to call them friends and whatnot. What, you promised to be in our group and now you're turning on us like it's nothing? Are you a void? It's because you're in void? Think whatever you want. It's just that I can't trust that your naive approach will work. From this point on, I'm on my own like Siobai. Good luck with that strange Teruya guy. He's the fellow. Why is he suddenly acting like that? Suddenly, it might not be the right word. Nick seemed to have his own complaints, even before the murder. He can be on his own. I don't want to let him join either. Then, shouldn't we all start moving? Sure, we'll think of what to do next after getting back up. Ra, do you feel better now? Yeah, I'm sorry for the mess earlier. Yuki, we should go. Yuki? Huh? Wait, what? Oh yeah, we should leave. What's wrong? You're spacing out. Yu is a big fan of him. I know how you feel, but try to cheer up for M, Yu. It's not because of that. Huh? Did I say something I wasn't supposed to? Looks like everyone's not in their best condition. Why is he mad? It's understandable though. There's still meaning in trying to stay bright, so let's bear this hardship together. Okay, let's go up, Kanade. This isn't like Hibiki at all. What are you doing, Kanade? Are you gonna keep your big sis waiting? Get your feet moving. Sorry, big sis, I'm coming. Is it Hibiki a void and Kanade is like starting to realize it? That she's acting weird? Our moment of delight was cut short by Nikke, followed by a few others that looked fairly different than usual. I couldn't imagine how the small crack in our relationship would play out. Although we were all worried about the same problem, none chose to verbalize it. And we finally decided to get rest for the day. It's 9 of the second class trial. We agreed to put off thinking where to go from here until tomorrow and get some rest. Emma. Void. We don't have any clues about them. What is their objective? For what reason would they carry out a plan like this? Continuously turning over in my mind questions I could never understand. I descended into the ocean of sleep. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Ocean. Yes, things will get important from now on. I'll do my best to look for the thing you told me. Be careful, act normal in Void, and don't let them find out. Okay, so there's a double agent in Void. Okay. Yes, I know. Okay. Just count on Big Sis for everything.
That's obviously Setsuka. Just act normal and void. Why did I go by so fast? I didn't press anything. Did someone who's in the void reveal that they're in the void to Setsuka? And now they're working with Setsuka or something? Got the Oscar award. I would like to save. Okay. What's Setsuka's endgame? Okay. Oh, that was a long recording. Man, I will say, this chapter was also really good. I think if this game keeps up the quality of the first and second chapter, I think this is better than any of the mainland games. These first two chapters have been really, really good so far. I don't think any other mainland games have had a chapter 1 and a chapter 2 that are like this strong. And I'm really like interested to see where it's gonna go. Yeah. What was that thing with Setsuka about? Is it baiting me? Was it not Setsuka? Is there just someone else who asks people to call them Big Sis? I'm happy with how I did on a trial. I think I figured out a lot. I figured out the important parts. Like I figured out. I'm happy with how I did. Okay. Well, anyways, see you next time for chapter 3.